Everybody, welcome back to another edition of Statistically Speaking, a UteNation podcast. We've already done part one this week, recapping the Kansas State game. Now we are on to Kansas, a fun one, a Friday right after Thanksgiving, fellas. So we get to see if the guys make the necessary corrections and if we witness a blowout or if Utah's defense is just running on fumes by this point of the year. So once again, I'm your host, Alex Markham. Got my guys Dustin Birch, Joe Silverswig, Matt Patton with me. Fellas, man, we already talked and tried to make sense of last week's game. So tell me what's going to happen with this one.
I think you've got a team in Kansas that
Hey, Utah,
they're
I'm
dangerous.
excited to see Utah play their traditional
traditional what?
They're not that dangerous.
No, they're not very dangerous.
Traditional
but you have a team...
Thanksgiving rivalry game against Kansas.
Oh yeah, I know. Terrible matchup for the final game of the year. Short week, but no. Here's where I say it's dangerous a little bit, and the reason it's a little bit dangerous is because the defense was exposed. 1, 2, it's on a short week on a road game for Utah. 3, it's senior night for Kansas, which matters a little bit. And this is a team that's desperate to get into a bowl. They're 5-6. Their quarterback that they've had since 2020 is potentially playing in his last game. Jalen Daniels got hurt in the third quarter in the last game against Iowa State. So it's yet to be seen. If he doesn't play, this is just going to be, 40-point blowout. I would expect. But so there's just a lot of extra factors that could cause this team to look a little better than they did last week when they really looked listless against Iowa State.
I kind of don't care about any of those things, right? Like my numbers, they just grind.
Those are the non-statistical factors.
It doesn't impact anything when you look at how these teams perform. This is a game that the Utah should win with just an extraordinary amount of comfort. Kansas is not a terrible team, but Utah just much better. Big things are on the road is always worth 3 points. And then I tell you, the thing that makes me nervous is Daly. That I don't account for. My model does not account for injuries, but somebody who is picking up 33% of your sack production, that is a significant loss. If I were just ballparking it, if I'm headed to Vegas, I'd probably ballpark it at 3.5 to 4 points. He's the kind of player who every game, that said another way, he's the kind of player who every game is the difference between the opponent getting a touchdown and the opponent getting a field goal, right? Which is a huge difference maker in a game and a big swing. And these numbers don't show that. They show, so they're so Daly was playing through most of the last game and or at least some of the last game. I can't remember exactly when he got hurt, but these numbers reflect
Daly got hurt, I want to say really early in the first quarter, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong, but it was
still, you're looking at a body of work for the team and a statistical performance for the team that almost entirely 95% reflects his presence on the field. So I think that's a significant change. And what's interesting about it to me is the FBI has Utah winning this game by about 12. And so does Vegas. So FBI is 12.5 and Vegas is 12.5, but Vegas adjusts for something like Daly losing. So to me, the line suggests that Kansas is likely to cover this, fairly likely. Like if I were to drop 4 points into this, if I were to guess that Daly were worth 4 points, and I were to add 4 points to this, and Utah goes from 85% to 76% to win this game, and on that margin, let me see, they are Yeah, they only win 39% of the time. So they only cover 39% of the time. So it becomes a really good Kansas bet. One of the best of the season if you factor Daly in as a 4-point player. So that's the thing that sticks out to me is that the FPI line here is 12.5 and the Vegas line is 12.5. To me, that's Vegas not taking into account just how valuable Daly is. And I think those of us who have watched the Utes play know that he really is worth those points. I mean, that's a real difference maker on the field for Utah. And one could say that part of the reason why Utah struggled so much with Kansas State defensively was him not being there. Now, hopefully, coaches figure out different ways to get that kind of production, and you'll see some of that, some of those points not be lost. But no, I'm nervous about it, and so I'm because of that factor, I'm actually going to pick Kansas to cover this week. I do think Utah's going to win. I think any way you slice it, Utah's the winning team here. But I'm going to go with 37 to 28 for the Utes. So that's well within the 9-point margin.
For sure. So, and Joe, also just because, I mean, obviously we've got it up on the screen here. Not everybody's going to be seeing and looking at this.
Oh, sure.
Because some will be on like Apple or Spotify. So just so everybody understands. So Joe's model with all the simulations that he runs has Utah winning this game 85% of the time. So definitely high probability, as everybody expects. It has Utah beating the spread of 12.5, 51% of the time. So, yeah, and so Joe, you're going against it on this because, again, what you're saying, because it's not fully accounting for John Daly, correct? John Henry Daly.
Yeah, my model doesn't take into account the absence of Daly, and my model says Utah beats the spread 51% of the time. So I think he's worth about 11% on that line, and that means 60-40 chance that Kansas beats the spread here, which is a good betting number.
Thoughts, fellas?
Yeah, I don't think. Here's the thing: Kansas is a very average team, kind of across the board. Total offense is about 70th. Total defense is about 80th. They're a little bit better on offense than they are on defense, but they're kind of average at everything. 60th in scoring, 58th in passing, 69th in rushing, kind of right in the middle at everything except one category. They are 104th nationally in rush defense.
That's lucky.
And Utah is the second best team in the country at running the ball. It's just a bad matchup for Kansas. Utah's defense is going to come out pissed. They're going to be prepared. They're not going to let this happen to them again. I'm taking the under on it again. I think Utah runs the ball all night, controls time of possession. It's 28-6, 31-6, something like that.
Dustin, Utah's defense coming out pissed doesn't change anything about filling the damn gaps or anything like that. That's a fundamental.
It changes everything.
Issue.
No, it changes everything. Right now. No, Utah's defense is a very preparation-focused defense. They always have been. If they prepare well, they're one of the best defenses in the country. And we talked about this on the last segment, but the reason Utah played so poorly is A, they played really poorly. They were in the wrong spots. Being in the wrong spots is not being prepared, not knowing what Kansas State's going to run. That's not going to happen to them against Kansas. Now, if Kansas's quarterback doesn't play, if Daniels doesn't play, then I don't think they cross the 50. But with Daniels playing, I still think they end up with 2 field goals at best.
See, God, Joe, what are you doing to us right now? Because I'm starting to feel and act like you. Because Dustin, I still sit back and hear you say those things, right? And you're talking about filling the gaps and everything, and like Simon Sound and all.
It takes all season, but I worm my way into your minds.
Utah's defense has been god awful with their tackling all year. Even with as good as they've been.
They haven't. No. No, that is recency bias, my friend. Even with the worst, statistically, the worst game that Kyle Whittingham defense has ever given up, This is a top 50. This is a top 50 national defense. They're fine.
All right,
Which is crazy,
and they're playing a bad offense.
They are good, but they are
And average.
really bad at tackling. They are.
Utah's given up 147 plays of 10 yards or more. That's 76th in the country. That I think that legitimately, if the offense gets past that line of scrimmage, they oftentimes they've got a ways to run.
I know I started out giving those kind of the non-statistical factors that I think could impact this game. However, I want to throw out now some numbers and why I actually disagree with everybody up to this point. All right. Utah, okay, 53, 45, 55, 51. That's how many points they've scored in their last 4 games. The Utes have averaged over 50 yards. Why would this Kansas team suddenly stop this offense? Yeah, the defense didn't play well, but the offense has been spectacular. And why would Kansas's defense, which, yeah, as Dustin just mentioned, one of the bottom teams in rush defense, how are they going to stop Utah? How are they going to stop Bird Ficklin, who's scored a touchdown every other rush, in the last 13 carries, 6 touchdowns, I think is what it is.
Shockingly, they're only the 3rd worst rushing defense Utah has played.
Yeah, there you go. So look,
Colorado and Baylor are both worse.
Utah's going to put up some big points in this game again. There's no reason why they shouldn't. This defense, and another thing against Kansas, their red zone defense is actually one of the worst in the nation. So they give up points. I don't see anybody on that defense that looks like they're just going to come out and be a game breaker. Utah should score over 50 points again in this game, and so that's going to really mess up some of these numbers, because I see Utah probably hitting 50. I'll give them 51. I mean, they're on the road, so I'll give them 51 here. And Kansas, if Jalen Daniels plays, I think they'll sniff around 24 to 28. So I'm saying way over in this one. And if Jalen Daniels doesn't play, again, he went out in the 3rd quarter, did something to his shoulder. This is a guy that gets injured frequently. If he doesn't play, I think it's like 51 to 17. If he does play, 51 to 28, I'll say, because I'll say that they will learn some things from that film, and Utah won't always be able to stop it. So 51-28 is what I'm going to go with if Jalen Daniels plays.
I do think if Jalen Daniels, it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't play and the team just doesn't show up, right? I mean,
if he doesn't play,
they're like, season's over anyway. And
yeah.
So
here's that way to end his career.
I'm sticking with my number, but I see where it comes from now.
Here's something for you guys with the numbers that you guys are throwing out and stuff like that. So first off, before I even ask this, I absolutely loved it last game. So, Matt, you were there, but you were up in the booth, so you wouldn't have heard this. I was out in the stands. When Bird scored, they've started playing "Bird is the Word." Bird is the word song. It was awesome. It was awesome. Everybody was getting into it.
Go to a
they had the fan going
until he's retired from football.
I only like it if Bird likes it.
Yeah, he seems to. He's doing the. I can't even do it. How do you do that?
The Napoleon Bird thing. Yeah. It's like, no, I can't even do it. Jeez.
This is not what the people come to the podcast for. I feel really bad for the people who listen and don't watch. They're like, what is going on over there?
Oh God! Dude, I'll tell you guys what. Last week we had when we had Guy Holiday on with me, Zach, and Derek. Man, the ones that just listened and didn't see the video to that because Zach and Derek were muted a lot of the time. Man, we were laughing hysterically at Doc the entire damn time. Like I almost spit out my water at one point. I made the mistake of what he was talking about, the Jim Harding sideline incident of taking a drink, even though I was already laughing my ass off. I put that back and went, oh, bad decision. Oh, so yes, you're spot on when it comes to that.
Make a difference.
But yeah, so anyways, at what point do you guys think Bird comes into the game? For good, not doing what he's doing the last few games, right? But like where he ends up taking over because the Amperes got him so far ahead. What point in the game do you feel like they're gonna just unleash Bird again?
Fifth quarter.
Fifth quarter?
Yeah, the fourth quarter.
People are going to be sweating, man. I think people are going to be like, what happened to this football team? And nothing, just as good as you would expect. Down a really good player.
We got our sweat game last week.
Oh my gosh, I wasn't sweating. I was drinking. that was the whiskey game.
I think third quarter. If Jalen Daniels doesn't play, I got to keep.
I was looking at Texas Bowl tickets.
Dustin, did you?
That's
did you
random.
yet?
Yeah, Dustin, reiterate your score because you kind of said it. Yeah, I heard it right.
Yeah.
Like 31-7 or something.
31-6.
31-6.
31-6. So are you saying Isaac Wilson's going to play most?
Yeah,
of the second
31-6. I don't think they get a touchdown. 2 field goals.
We're all over the
I
board.
admire all your confidence.
31.
No, I think it's going to be just all on the ground. I think we only throw. I think Utah only throws the ball like 4 times.
You were all talking about the last episode, looking up at your Christmas tree. I'm a different faith, but the menorah lit for 8 days when there was only enough oil for one, and that's the kind of faith that you guys have in this Utah defense, and I just admire it. So I certainly hope from my heart that you folks are right. I don't know, psychologically wounded by the heart palpitations from last week. But
Matt, you got that down. I see that.
That was beautiful. It was so for those of you
the last
listening and not watching,
see
Matt's beautiful hand dove just flitted across the screen. It was
I think it's the bird. This is the bird. They're gonna let Bird loose this week. They're gonna let him. He's gonna come in the third quarter. They're gonna let him throw the ball. He's gonna run a lot of touchdowns. Last
week he was 0 for 1 with a QBR of 99.8 out of 100. so he had a good day. They don't let him throw the ball.
And I know we're looking ahead, right, and not necessarily looking back anymore. But hey, all props to Devin because I mean that was a phenomenal performance by him.
Sure.
Phenomenal performance by him. He is still not healthy, and the fact that he was able to
Barton.
that one.
And Barton. I think Lander Barton.
Here's what's crazy on that, Kay.
I think Lander Barton told that team, this has got to be a 3-and-out, and we're getting this 3-and-out.
Here's what's crazy on that. And yeah, I know we're kind of going back and talking on that game again, but man, I was getting blasted by some people on the podcast. You know, I'm not on the podcast. I apologize. I was getting blasted by some people on Twitter, right? And it's just like, oh, Lander. Just blaming Lander constantly, right? And so just how sweet it was to see the senior whose entire family has grown up and been Utes, you know, to having that moment being before Obad. I think he was actually the highest rated recruit ever. I think he ended up being like 20 on Rivals right before signing day, like literally right before signing day. He jumped that high, right? Out of nowhere. But anyways, you know, just the fact that, you know, just his lineage growing up being such a diehard Ute family through and through. He didn't have the best game, okay? And he made that play in the moment that he needed to make it. And it was so cool seeing him just walk off to the sidelines, holding his arms and that ball up in the air, and then start like blowing everybody kisses. Like, Lander, man, take your bow, dude. That was unreal. And the game couldn't have ended that way with a better choice, with a better person, with his background and everything. That was so cool to see. It was so poetic.
Yeah. Well said.
All right, guys. Anything else to be looking out for with the Kansas game, or should we wrap this and be talking probably after Thanksgiving here?
Talking about bowl games.
Yeah, we've got about just everything covered, right? I went with a really high score.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Joe's in the
everybody.
middle, Dustin's down low. Alex, did you give a score?
I didn't give a score. I'm going to give it on the 48 hour. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. So
Good.
We'll see who's you steal.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. I don't know that I'll go in the 50s, but I think it'll probably be high 40s, right? So I got more faith in the offense than Dustin apparently. So
Hey, Dustin's
You look
total is
froze
only
there, Dustin.
slightly less
40
than
minutes
Joe's.
time of possession. 41.
dang. But yeah, so it should be a good game. Should be plenty of more fun things to talk about. And then what's really going to be kind of cool and fun after this is, I mean, my head's going to be spinning after this last game, especially if Utah doesn't take that small chance and get into the conference championship game, right? But my head's going to be spinning because Whittingham's got a deadline, whether it's the 5th or the 8th in December. I've got to double check that, but that's when he's got to let everybody know if he's coming back or not. A lot of different dominoes can fall with that. So, you guys are going to have to joke with me through those texts and just help me keep my sanity because I'm gonna be losing my mind, right? But then after that, it's going to be interesting and also fun at the same time to see who are the opt-outs of the bowl game and who are the guys that might be getting all this playing time or like playing for the very first time this year because red shirts can play in the bowl game now and not lose eligibility, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting time coming up. Definitely that December deadline for Whittingham just to see where the program goes from here. So I'm just ready to watch one more game before I lose my sanity with having to go back and forth and dive deeper into that than I already have.
Keep an eye on that.
Yep. All right, fellas. Well, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate everybody else as well. Again, want to continue to encourage everybody to hit the like, hit the subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, whatever you're listening to and watching it on. We're getting close to that 500 follower mark. Want to continue to just please, ask everybody to please, again, if you're listening to these and you haven't, hit the follow button, please do. If you have and you love it, because again, we've been getting so much positive feedback on this that let everybody know, please just keep pushing it out. We got a lot of fun things in store on this. It's only going to keep getting better and better. Also head over to UteNation.com, especially with signing day coming up and the transfer portal hitting, and who knows what's going to be going on with Kyle as well, right? So head over to UteNation.com, promo code all caps Ute50, and come along for the ride with us there. So, all right, fellas, appreciate you guys.